The physics of the paw. Why cats knock things over. Have you ever found yourself captivated by your cat as they stare intensely at an object, motionless as a statue, only to execute a slow, calculated swipe that sends the item tumbling to the ground? You catch their gaze, a mix of amusement and horror washing over you, feeling as though your feline friend has just committed a deliberate, tiny act of rebellion. But consider this. What if that seemingly mischievous gesture conceals a motive far more intriguing? What if the act of knocking things over isn't random chaos, but rather a window into how your cat perceives the physical world and you? Welcome to Meowrange, our cozy, podcast-style sanctuary where we explore the fascinating facts, heartwarming tales, and surprising psychology of our beloved cats. Today, we are peeling back the layers of one of the most comical yet baffling behaviors in the feline kingdom: why cats seem obsessed with gravity. Before we dive in, take a brief moment to support this community of cat enthusiasts. Tap the like button and subscribe, not for the sake of the channel, but for your own cat. Understanding them better deepens the bond you share, and believe me, after hearing this story, you will never look at their playful destruction in quite the same light. So why do cats knock things over? Ethologists and animal behaviorists have dedicated decades to decoding this habit, and the verdict is in: it isn't malice. It is instinct. Let's rewind to the very beginning. In the wild, cats are evolved hunters. Every rustle, every shift in the wind, every vibration is critical data. When a wild feline detects a small creature, perhaps a mouse navigating the tall grass, it will nudge, paw, or tap the object to test for signs of life. That simple, tentative bat with their paw is the ignition switch for their predatory curiosity. Now, transport that instinct into your modern living room. Your cat spots a pencil teetering on the edge of your desk. It catches the light. It rolls. Crucially, it moves. That motion triggers the exact same neural pathways that hunting triggered in their wild ancestors. It isn't that your cat is trying to irritate you. It is their brain whispering, chase it, test it, hunt it. Research from animal behavior experts, including findings shared by the ASPCA, American Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals, confirms that cats utilize their paws to explore and manipulate their environment. This tactile exploration is their primary method of determining what is safe, what is potential prey, and what is simply an object waiting for gravity to take hold. If you have ever observed your cat nudging an object, pausing to watch the reaction, and then delivering one final, decisive shove, you are witnessing a study in cause and effect. They are essentially tiny scientists wrapped in fur, testing Newtonian physics, one coffee mug at a time. And yet, there is an undeniable comedy in how calculated it appears, isn't there? The slow, deliberate stare before the push. The silence that hangs in the air after the crash. Then, the nonchalant saunter away, as if to say, well, hypothesis confirmed. Experts like Dr. Mikel Delgado from the University of California explain that cats are not being malicious. They are being methodical. When they spot an object perched on a ledge, their curiosity flips on like a light switch. They are driven by a need to know: will it move? Will it fall? What acoustic frequency will it generate upon impact? It is exploration masquerading as trouble. Some cats even refine their tastes. They may develop a preference for lightweight objects that create a satisfying clatter, such as pens, bottle caps, or jewelry. To them, these aren't your personal belongings. They are interactive physics toys designed for their entertainment. Here is something even more captivating. Cats grasp the concept of cause and effect. Researchers in Japan conducted experiments demonstrating that cats could actually anticipate whether an object would make a sound before it hit the ground based on visual cues. This implies they aren't just reacting. They are predicting. Your cat isn't clumsy. They are conducting a masterclass in mechanics. However, let's be real. When this experiment happens at 3 a.m., it feels far less like science and more like a nuisance. Perhaps you've been jolted awake by the sound of your phone skidding off the nightstand. You stumble into the room to find your cat sitting by the wreckage, looking innocent yet vaguely proud. In that moment, you likely ask, why? Why do you do this? Here is the reality. Your cat isn't bored or angry. They are seeking stimulation. Domestic life is incredibly safe and predictable. The hunt is over, the food is provided, and your cat, brilliant, agile, and endlessly curious, need something to ignite their mind. Knocking things over is a form of enrichment. It is the closest approximation to hunting they can find within four walls. Cats thrive on sensory engagement. They need to utilize touch, sight, and hearing to feel balanced and satisfied. When those needs aren't met through structured play, they will invent their own games. Unfortunately, sometimes those games involve your favorite water glass. Now, let's reflect for a second. Have you noticed that your cat often chooses the exact moment you are watching? Or perhaps when you are typing on your phone, pretending they don't exist? That is not a coincidence. That is communication. Behaviorists note that cats are quick learners when it comes to capturing human attention. When pushing an object elicits a reaction, be it a gasp, a shout, or a laugh, they file that data away. It becomes a reliable mechanism to engage you. So, the next time your cat maintains eye contact while slowly pushing a remote off the sofa, don't view it as defiance. View it as their way of saying, "Hey, I am here. Acknowledge me." And maybe, just maybe, they know exactly what they are doing. There is a poetic element to this behavior as well. Cats inhabit a world defined by texture and motion. They lack hands to grasp and manipulate tools as we do. Their paws are their interface with the world, their way of exploring, questioning, and expressing. Each nudge, each flick, each delicate tap is a sentence in their language. Imagine if your world was filled with fascinating objects you could move but never truly hold. Wouldn't you experiment too? Your cat's actions are less about breaking things and more about understanding the nature of things. When we shift our perspective, the behavior stops feeling like rebellion and starts feeling like discovery. It is this unyielding curiosity that makes cats so endlessly fascinating. Every day, they remind us that the simplest things, a rolling pen, a ripple of water, a swaying plant, can be sources of wonder. In a way, that is part of their charm. They rekindle the spirit of curiosity we often lose as adults. So perhaps, instead of asking, "Why does my cat knock things over?" we should ask, "What are they trying to learn?" Behind every tiny act of chaos lies a spark of intelligence, playfulness, and a desire to connect. Before we close this chapter of our journey, I have a question for you. What is the funniest or most bizarre item your cat has ever knocked over? Share it in the comments. I love reading your anecdotes, and I promise to reply to as many as possible. You might even see your cat's story featured in a future episode. The attention seeker, decoding the message. But here is something you might not expect. Not every cat knocks things over out of pure curiosity. For some, it is a deliberate message, one you might be receiving without even realizing it. Once you decode that message, it could alter how you view your cat forever. It isn't mischief. It is communication. Have you ever wondered if your cat is trying to tell you something specific when they send another glass, pen, or controller crashing to the floor? What if every accident is actually a form of language, one you have been reinforcing without knowing it? Cats may not speak human languages, but they are constantly broadcasting information. Every slow blink, every flick of the tail, every subtle tap of the paw means something. And knocking things over? That is one of the loudest signals they can transmit. Welcome back to Meowrange, the cozy space where we uncover the truth behind the mysterious world of cats. If you haven't already, please take a second to subscribe and leave a like. Not for me, but for that furry friend who rules your house. It takes less than a second, and I promise your cat would approve of this gesture of devotion. Let's dive into the attention aspect of this behavior. Many owners assume their feline companion is being naughty or vindictive. However, according to leading animal behaviorists like the team at Cat Behavior Associates, most cats knock things over as a learned form of attention seeking. It usually begins as an accident. One day, your cat nudges something off the counter. You gasp, you rush over, perhaps you even scold them gently. In that split second, your cat learns something profound. That action causes the human to move. Cats are incredibly observant anthropologists of their human families. They are experts at reading our patterns, when we wake, when we feed them, and crucially, when we pick up our phones. So, when they realize that pushing an object earns your immediate focus, it becomes a reliable tool for interaction. Think about the mechanics of it. If your cat knocks over a glass and you react instantly, whether by yelling, laughing, or simply looking up, they have just received a confirmation receipt. For a creature that spends much of the day observing us from a quiet corner, that reaction is a significant reward. Scientists refer to this as operant conditioning, a method of learning where a specific behavior is reinforced by the consequence it produces. In your cat's mind, the algorithm is simple. Push object dash, human reacts dash, mission accomplished. Cats do not differentiate between good and bad attention in the way we might expect. To them, any reaction signifies connection. Whether you are annoyed or amused is secondary. What matters is that you notice them. So, the next time you are working, lost in your phone, and your cat swipes something off your desk, ask yourself, are they being mischievous? Or are they simply asking for your eyes, your voice, and your presence? There is a reason this behavior feels so intentional. Cats are emotional creatures capable of forming strong bonds. Studies from the University of Oregon and the journal Animal Cognition reveal that cats form secure attachments to their owners, similar to dogs and even human infants. They recognize your tone, your habits, and your body language. They know when your focus has drifted, and some will do whatever is necessary to reclaim it. That is why you might notice this happens at very specific times. When you are typing on a laptop, when you are on a long phone call, or when you have been ignoring them after dinner. Your cat isn't plotting chaos. They are sending a reminder. I am still here. Do not forget me. Let's visualize it from their perspective. You are a cat. Your human is staring at a glowing rectangle again. They haven't blinked in 5 minutes. You call out with a soft trill, no response. You rub against their arm, still nothing. But then, your eyes catch something shiny sitting dangerously close to the edge of the table. You know what happens if you push it. You have done it before. So, with a perfectly calculated paw, tap. The object falls, clatters to the ground, and suddenly, action. Eye contact. A voice. Movement. For the cat, the strategy was a resounding success. What looks like mischief to us is, in their mind, a highly effective communication tool. It is not about disobedience. It is about connection. Dr. Sarah Ellis, a feline behavior specialist, describes cats as masters of human training. Through trial and error, they learn exactly how to manipulate our responses to get what they want, be it food, affection, or acknowledgement. If knocking something over achieves that goal faster than a meow, they will choose the most efficient path. In a strange way, this means your cat has figured you out. They know exactly how to make you stop scrolling, turn your head, and look at them. It is their version of saying your name. So instead of frustration, what if we responded with understanding? Maybe even a little humor? After all, they have cracked the code of human behavior, a feat not every species can claim. But here is the emotional layer most people overlook. When cats knock things over to get your attention, it often reveals trust. A cat who feels safe with you knows they can interrupt your space without fear. In the wild, making yourself vulnerable or annoying to a larger animal is dangerous. A cat would never challenge a superior predator's focus unless they felt secure. When your cat confidently hops onto your desk and taps at your belongings, it is a sign that they feel comfortable enough to engage you directly. It is a form of social interaction, a conversation in their own language. Some cats even develop rituals. For instance, one might always knock over your pen at dinner time or push a bottle cap when they want to play. These behaviors are patterns of communication shaped by routine and reinforced by emotion. So yes, it might be inconvenient, but it is also a sign of how deeply your cat has connected with you. If you are wondering how to gently redirect this behavior, there is a kind way to do it. Instead of punishing your cat, which rarely works, reward them for communicating differently. When they meow, look at you, or approach gently, respond with immediate attention, play, or affection. Over time, they will learn that they don't need to push things off the table to be heard. You can also enrich their environment with toys that mimic hunting or movement, like feather wands or treat puzzles. These give your cat the stimulation they crave without risking another shattered cup. And most importantly, schedule time every day for focused interaction. Even 10 minutes of play can fulfill their need for attention and reduce that look-at-me destruction. Now, let's pause for a moment. Think about your cat's unique personality. Are they the quiet observer, the dramatic performer, or the gentle nudge-and-run type? Tell me in the comments which kind of knocker your cat is. I absolutely love hearing these stories, and I reply to as many as I can. Because behind every clattering sound is a little story about connection, curiosity, and love. The ancient hunter, Instincts in a modern world. Sometimes, when you respond to that behavior with kindness, you might discover that your cat isn't just trying to get your attention. They might be channeling something ancient. Imagine this. Your cat, soft and spoiled, is curled up on your velvet couch. There is a bowl of fresh kibble nearby, sunlight streaming through the window. And yet, when something small rolls across the floor, a pen, a grape, a hair tie, they spring to life. Eyes wide, tail twitching, pupils expanding like twin moons. In that instant, the modern home fades away. You are not looking at a pet anymore. You are witnessing an ancient predator awakening. Cats may have traded the wild plains for warm sofas, but their instincts never left. Every playful pounce, every silent stalk, and yes, even every object they knock over is a whisper from their primal past. Welcome back to Meowrange, where we uncover the secret science and soul behind your cat's quirks. If you are enjoying this journey into feline minds, take a second to like this video and subscribe. Not for me, but for your inner cat lover, who knows there is always something magical hiding behind every little paw swipe. Let's step back thousands of years, long before there were tables to climb or mugs to knock over. Wild cats roamed across Africa, Europe, and Asia, silent hunters built for stealth. Their survival depended on curiosity and quick reflexes. They didn't have toys or lasers. They had insects scuttling under leaves, rustling branches, and the faintest twitch of prey hiding nearby. To find food, they learned to test their world. A gentle tap of the paw could reveal whether that movement in the grass was dinner or just the wind. That small, precise motion, so familiar to every cat owner, was once a life-or-death skill. And though your cat may now dine from a polished ceramic bowl, that same neural wiring remains. According to feline behavior specialists like Dr. John Bradshaw, author of Cat Sense, cats today still operate with a hunter's mind trapped in a pet's body. Their brains are designed to stay alert to movement, sound, and surprise. So when your cat pushes a pen off your desk, they aren't being random. They are performing a behavior that once determined survival. Here is a fascinating fact. Studies have shown that even well-fed domestic cats retain strong hunting instincts. In experiments where cats were offered both free food and moving toys, they often chose to hunt the toy before eating. That is because the act of hunting is psychologically rewarding, releasing dopamine and satisfying deep-rooted neural patterns. So when your cat topples a bottle cap or flicks a marble across the floor, they are feeding that instinct, not their stomach. It is not mischief. It is maintenance. Wild cats and domestic cats share nearly 95% of their DNA. That means the same genes that guided lions and leopards to test their surroundings live on in your fluffy companion. The difference? In your home, there are no mice in the grass, only pencils, plants, and anything else small enough to become prey. Let's paint the scene. A lion in the savannah crouches low. Prey moves. The lion tests the ground with its paw, sensing vibration. Then, attack. Now, imagine your cat in your kitchen. The air vent hums. A spoon trembles near the edge of the counter. Your cat watches, calculating. A paw extends. Tap. It falls. Different environment, same brain. What we see as chaos, they experience as instinct fulfillment. Behavioral scientists call this kind of action object play. It is when cats interact with inanimate things to simulate hunting behaviors, stalking, chasing, batting, or pouncing. This isn't mindless play. It is instinctual training. Even kittens who have never hunted outdoors show these behaviors naturally. Play is their evolutionary classroom. Every swipe fine-tunes coordination. Every chase hones timing. Every crash satisfies curiosity. These actions not only reduce stress and boredom, but also provide an outlet for ancient instincts. Without it, cats find substitutes, like your favorite pen. So, in a way, when your cat knocks something over, they aren't being destructive. They are practicing survival skills in a world that no longer requires them. This also explains why cats are drawn to motion. The feline eye is built for detecting subtle movements, far more than static shapes. In the wild, spotting a flick of grass or a tail twitch could mean the difference between catching dinner or going hungry. Even today, their brains are wired to respond to change. A still object might go unnoticed, but as soon as it wobbles or teeters near the edge, it becomes alive. That is why a perfectly stable glass means nothing But the moment it is slightly off balance, your cat's instincts kick in. Must investigate. It is the predator's impulse in a predator's body, expressed in a living room. But here is the interesting paradox. Our cats are the only predators on Earth who live their entire lives surrounded by prey-sized objects they cannot eat. Keys, pins, earrings, tiny plants. They all resemble potential targets, but they carry no nutritional reward. So your cat adapts, finding joy not in consuming prey, but in causing movement. The sound, the fall, the reaction, it is all part of the hunt. This is also why cats often appear proud after knocking something over, that quiet little tail flick or satisfied look. It is the afterglow of instinct well executed. They don't understand your frustration. They only feel the satisfaction of success. And yet, there is a deeper emotional layer here too. When cats express these ancient instincts, they aren't just entertaining themselves. They are keeping their minds sharp, their bodies engaged, and their confidence high. A cat that gets to hunt daily, whether through play, exploration, or even a few paw swipes at a wobbly object, is usually more relaxed and emotionally balanced. Experts in feline welfare emphasize that boredom can be one of the most common causes of unwanted behavior. Without enough stimulation, cats look for outlets, sometimes on your shelves. That is why providing scratching posts, climbing spaces, and toys that trigger movement isn't just kindness. It is essential for their mental health. So the next time your cat eyes a dangling ornament, maybe smile instead of sighing. Because what you are seeing isn't defiance. It is instinct trying to survive in a human world. Let's face it, cats live in two realities at once. One paw in the modern home, one in the wild. They have adapted beautifully, but some echoes of the past never fade. And honestly, would we want them to? That little spark of wildness, the unpredictability, the curiosity, the playful destruction, that is what makes cats so captivating. They are tiny reminders that nature never truly disappears. It just learns to coexist with our Wi-Fi routers and kitchen counters. So maybe, when your cat sends another object flying, instead of asking why, you might whisper, "I see you, little hunter." Because beneath the fur and the comfort, that is exactly what they are. Tell me in the comments, does your cat ever go into hunter mode out of nowhere? I love hearing about those wild little moments, and I reply to as many as I can, because as it turns out, even in the safest homes, a cat's heart still beats to the rhythm of the wild. The emotional layer, feelings behind the fall, but while instinct explains part of the story, there is one final reason behind this behavior. One that isn't about survival at all. It is about emotion. And once you understand it, you might never look at your cat's behavior the same way again. Every cat owner has seen it. That soft paw, that calculating stare, and the moment something hits the floor with a satisfying clink. But what if I told you that sometimes when your cat knocks things over, it's not about hunting or curiosity or even getting your attention? What if it is about emotion, something your cat is feeling but cannot express in words? Welcome back to Meowrange, the cozy podcast-style corner where we uncover the heart and science behind our cat's most mysterious behaviors. If you've been enjoying this journey, please take a second to like this video and subscribe. Not for me, but because every time someone new joins, it helps more people understand their cats on a deeper, kinder level. Cats may seem calm, even aloof, but beneath that quiet surface lies an entire world of feelings: love, anxiety, excitement, confusion, contentment. They may not show emotions like humans do, but they feel them all the same. And one of the most misunderstood expressions of those emotions is when they push something off your table. Let's start with the truth every cat expert agrees on. Behavior is communication. Cats don't do things for no reason. Every movement, every meow, every odd quirk tells a story about how they feel in that moment. So when a cat starts knocking things over more often, especially if they never used to, it can sometimes be their way of saying, "I am stressed. I am lonely. Something changed." Dr. Mikel Delgado explains that cats are incredibly sensitive to shifts in their environment. A new smell, a new routine, a new person in the house. Anything unfamiliar can unsettle them. They notice details we don't: the sound of a neighbor's dog, the rearrangement of furniture, even a change in your tone of voice. When that unease builds up, cats express it through behavior. Some hide, some overgroom. Others find release in physical actions like swatting or knocking things down. It is a way of reclaiming control in a world that suddenly feels unpredictable. Because here is something we often forget. Your cat doesn't understand why things change. They just feel it. When you leave for longer hours, bring home a new pet, or stop playing as much, they can't ask questions. They can only act. Imagine their perspective. Their world is small but precious. It is made up of routines, the morning greeting, the rustle of food in the bowl, the sound of your footsteps at the same time every evening. To a cat, predictability equals safety. When something disrupts that rhythm, their emotions look for an outlet. And sometimes, the act of knocking an object over, the sound, the motion, the cause and effect, helps them release that tension. It isn't aggression. It is emotional self-regulation. Dr. Rachel Barak, a veterinarian and animal acupuncturist, describes it perfectly. Cats act out behaviorally when their emotional needs aren't being met. They use movement and sound to ground themselves. So that glass on the counter? It's not revenge. It's therapy. There is also the flip side. Cats who knock things over not from stress, but from connection. Cats form powerful emotional bonds with their humans. They might not wag their tails or jump into your arms, but they express affection through proximity and imitation. When you interact with objects, they want to be part of it. When you reach for your mug, they reach too. When you pick something up, they bat at it. It isn't destruction. It is participation. Many cat owners report that their cats often help by joining activities, sitting on laptops, swatting pins while you write, nudging makeup brushes off the vanity. Behaviorists explain that these cats are seeking shared experience. They are saying, I want to be included in what you are doing. To us, it is chaos. To them, it is bonding. And let's not forget loneliness. Cats are independent, but they still need companionship and stimulation. When left alone for long hours, they may begin to create their own games. A 2017 study published in Behavioral Processes found that domestic cats form emotional attachments similar to children. They seek comfort in familiarity and human attention. When deprived of it, they develop coping mechanisms like object play, vocalization, or repetitive actions. So if your cat is knocking things over while you are gone, it might be their way of coping with separation. It isn't mischief. It is missing you. You might notice it happens most often when they expect your presence, like minutes before you usually come home or right after you leave a room. That is timing driven by emotional connection. The good news? There are gentle ways to help your cat channel these feelings positively. Start by keeping routines consistent. Cats thrive on predictability. Feed them, play with them, and interact around the same times each day. Consistency gives them emotional security. Give them places to climb, toys that move, and puzzles that reward curiosity. Mental stimulation replaces stress with satisfaction. And most importantly, spend time together intentionally. A few minutes of genuine focus, brushing their fur, talking softly, engaging in play, can make a world of difference. Cats don't need constant attention, but they do need to feel seen. Because in the end, when a cat feels emotionally fulfilled, that mysterious habit often fades on its own. Let's make something clear, though. You should never punish your cat for knocking things over. They don't understand punishment. They understand energy. When you yell or react harshly, it doesn't stop the behavior. It amplifies their anxiety. Instead, respond calmly. Redirect, replace, reward. When they behave gently or engage with toys instead of objects, praise them softly. Over time, your cat will learn that peace, not chaos, earns your attention. And remember, sometimes, even when they aren't seeking anything, they just want to remind you they exist. That tiny paw reaching for your cup may simply mean, notice me. I love you. So maybe next time you hear a thud in the other room, don't rush to frustration. Take a breath. Smile. Maybe even call their name. Because that sound might be your cat's little way of saying, I miss you. I need you. I am here. Behind every toppled object lies something deeply human. The desire to connect, to feel secure, to be acknowledged. And isn't that what we all want? Before we wrap up, tell me in the comments, have you ever noticed your cat knocking something over at a strangely perfect emotional moment? Like right when you were sad, or busy, or needed a break? I read your stories. I reply to as many as I can. And honestly, they make this community feel like one big family of cat lovers learning together. And if you found this story heartwarming or insightful, please subscribe so we can keep exploring the emotions, mysteries, and hidden beauty of our feline friends. Because here at Meowrange, we don't just love cats. We listen to them. So the next time your cat knocks something over, maybe don't pick it up right away. Maybe look at them, smile, and whisper, "I hear you."